Well, a good Friday. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardener's Corner program, a Friday feature here on TV Channel 10, located on Charter Communications, Channel 191, and also on WKRX 96.7. My name is Rob Hall. We're glad to have you tuned in to the Gardener's Corner program today, brought to you by Sandling Golf Cars and T.G. Brooks Company. Without further ado, I'd like to make welcome, and I got to do a different introduction today.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
If you would at this time, I'd like to make welcome to the all-seeing, the all-knowing, the big kahuna himself, formerly of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, the one, the only, retired Carl Cantaluppi.
There goes the siren again.
Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. Retired but not expired.
Oh, there you go. And congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
Anyway, Carl retired yesterday after, what, just about 22
Almost
years
22
of service
years, yeah.
with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension. And today will be his last day on the Gardener's Corner program.
That's right.
And Carl is the only agent of person in Granville County that has ever, been on the show, other than Gary Cross was here one time. And Carl was actually here and was the one that started the program. Carl and Mr. Don Carroll.
Right, and it's due to the just from the asking of Mr. Randy Green, who was the Southern States manager here in Roxborough at the time, back in April of 1996.
And so the show has came a long way from 30 minutes on the radio
to an hour,
and now being on TV Channel 10. And
right.
Anyway, Carl, really enjoyed your retirement dinner.
Yeah, it was fun.
Friday night.
It was fun.
At Homestead, and had a really good crowd on hand, and heard some really nice comments. And I had actually told Carl that, it is a really big commitment to agree to do the program once a week. And the program is on 52 times a year.
Yeah.
And a lot of time with the schedule, we would have to pre-record, but Carl, you have always been excellent to work with.
Well, thank you.
And we hate to see you go.
Yeah.
But we are excited for you. We truly are. And Want to wish you all the best.
Well, thanks.
And on today's program, if you've got a gardening question or something, you call us 336-599-0266. We'll do our best to get you on and answer the question. But for the most part today, we're just going to be looking back and spending some time with Carl Cantaluppi about things that he has done throughout the year. And we've got a special guest with us in the studio, Mr. Paul Westfall of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. And he is the director for Person and Granville counties. And we're hoping to have Paul and some of the other agents with us on the show on a continuing basis. And we're going to get Paul on in a little bit and kind of introduce him to those of you by the way of TV and radio that has maybe never seen or heard Paul speak, but we're just kind of looking forward to it. But Carl, let's kind of go back way back when. How did it work about for you to go to work with the Cooperative Extension Service?
Well, after college, I worked for a short time as a produce buyer for Safeway stores in Landover, Maryland, and I knew from the outset that that wasn't for me. So I went back home and took out an ad for myself in a trade newspaper of the fruit and vegetable industry called a Packer. And I put in an ad and I said, BS degree in horticulture, seeks employment with established fruit and vegetable grower.
And of course you're talking Bachelor of Science.
Yeah, well, the other two. So, a vegetable grower in central Pennsylvania answered my ad. And I went out to work for him, and I managed about, I planted 5 acres of pick-your-own strawberries and planted and managed about an acre and a half of vegetables. While I was doing that, I became acquainted with the county extension agent out there, and I used to help him plan programs, visiting area farms. So I thought I'd probably like to give extension a try. Well, I interviewed for a position in my home county in northern New Jersey and didn't get it because I didn't have a master's degree. So a college buddy that I graduated with from Delaware Valley College in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, he went out to Kansas State University, and about the time I was looking to go back, he said, Carl, why don't you apply to Kansas State? If you work really hard, you can get your master's in 3 semesters. So that's what I did. And I got it. So then after that, I started work. Well, not many people know this, but I actually started a PhD program at the University of Minnesota. But I was up there, and I just didn't think that was for me. So I left up there after 1 quarter, and then I started an extension in Kansas, being from Kansas State, getting my master's there. They had several positions open at the time in extension, so I started in a county just east of Wichita, El Dorado, Kansas, Butler County, and was there for a little over a year. Then had the chance to move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had a fruit and vegetable agent as well as an ornamental agent, so I had the fruit and vegetable agent for about 3 years. Then they were going through tough economic times. Oil production really hit the skids in the early 80s. So I was looking to move, went to the Quad Cities in Illinois and Iowa. I was an agent in Rock Island County, Moline, Rock Island, Illinois, which borders along the Mississippi River in Davenport and Bettendorf, Iowa. So I was there for 7 years. That's where I really started with my asparagus work and got people interested in growing it. And they went through a severe budget crisis in 1991, and they eliminated about 2/3 of their field staff. So, and my position was one of them that went. So from there I went to Ohio and worked at a newly opened research station in the south central part of the state. Was there for about 3 years. I did applied research and extension work with vegetables and small fruits. Then they cut their station budget, and I was looking again. So in 1994, I came down here. They were advertising for a person that wanted to work with direct marketing and work with growers to work with specialty crops. So that was September of '94, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. Well, we're glad that you were able to make your way to North Carolina. I think we have a call.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Yes, I need to ask the asparagus man, when's the best time to spray asparagus for fungus?
It's Gary Cross.
Well, hey, Gary. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Rob. How are you doing?
Good. Now, by you asking that question, are you in a way leading up to saying that you want to become the Johnny Appleseed of asparagus #2?
It would be a long distance #2 behind Carl Cantaluppi, like way behind, maybe even be the 25th or something like that.
All right. Well, now, Gary, we had the pleasure of meeting you, I guess, maybe about your first or second week. And for our listeners that may not know, Gary, who is by way of phone, is the crop agent for a person in Granville County with the Cooperative Extension Service. And I guess maybe his first couple of weeks or so, he traveled around a few different places. And he came out and was on the program.
He was.
Some. But
and we share a little commonality. He is an Illinois native, and he worked in Illinois, and so did I. And so we got to
Kansas.
And to Kansas as well. And we kind of, well, I said at the retirement dinner, we were very fortunate to sit on the shoulders of giants because we learned about extension. We had a lot of good mentors in the state, and we followed, right after those people.
All right. Well, Gary, you had told me that it was some thoughts that you would like to pass along to the...
I would, Rob. I mean, first of all, I want to congratulate you, Rob, for having a good program that's informative to people. I know Carl really appreciates that, being able to come in there and do that and do tapings and everything. So, you do a great job, and the real public needs to know that also. Now to Carl Cantaluppi. Where do I start?
Well, I'll see you later.
Rob, you have to admit, I've worked all over the country. I've said this at his testimonial. And I've worked with horticulture agents, all different types of agents. And without a doubt, Carl Cantaluppi is one of the finest horticulture agents in this country. Definitely in North Carolina, without any questions asked. But his perception, his looking forward, his wanting to move the mark forward, that's what he was taught when he started an extension to do. And that's what he has done out here in extension. And I think, Rob, North Carolina is going to lose a tremendous educational resource, a tremendous person, a tremendous customer service-driven agent that, spells it out how it is. Sometimes you can't be the good guy and yes on everything. You have to say, no, that is not correct. Or you have to look at things from research data. You just can't pull things out of your head. Unless you're Carl. Now, he could pull asparagus figures out of his head from 20 years ago.
Still.
So, I mean, that's what we're losing out here, Rob. And I think you know that. And I'm going to miss him and Ruth moving up there. He told me he had some chili for me in the Person County office.
That's what he's going to miss.
You could leave the freezer full over there, Carl, at the Person County office if you desired.
Well, Gary, the other night when you spoke at the retirement, you talked about, how much you like Carl and what an asset he has been to the Extension Service. And you alluded to the fact that his wife is one heck of a good cook. And I too can attest to that. So,
Now, Rob, I'm going to tell you, she's a nice person first and a good cook second.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
I agree.
Without a doubt.
I agree.
And Carl, he's a lucky man. As usual, he lucks out. It's kind of like Curly on the Three Stooges, you know, no matter how it ends up, Curly always ends up winning somehow.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I guess one thing that you and I both need to instill into Carl and Ruth's mind is that, you know, Federal Express and UPS does next day delivery, so if she ever goes on a baking or cooking frenzy, they can ship it on down to us.
That's right.
Rob, I really appreciate your thoughts on that. You are a good thinking man here. And I hope Carl's got a pencil and a paper out when you were talking.
Well, we appreciate you calling, Gary, and we're looking forward to having you on the show with us down the road sometimes. And Carl will certainly be missed by a lot of people, us here at the station, and it just continues from there on out. But
I need a good replacement.
but we're very happy for him too.
I am very happy, and I'm happy for him and Ruth. They found a nice place in Pennsylvania, so they're going to be moving on with their lives, and he'll probably get tapped by me occasionally and by asparagus growers all over North Carolina. So if he's left his cell phone out, then he'll get calls.
Yep,
That's
still have
right.
the same cell phone number, no problem.
That's right. So, well, look, Gary.
Thanks, Gary, for your comments. I appreciate that very much. It's been a
Now,
pleasure.
was your cell phone number 1-800-Susquehanna or something like that? Wasn't that a Three Stooge deal?
No.
Well, Rob, you've had a good man on there for several years, and I can only hope that I can do as good as what he's done in relation to even crops related to what he's done in horticulture. So
yeah, you'll do it.
I appreciate you letting me call in. And again, Carl, you've done a tremendous job. We all appreciate what you've done here at NC State.
Thanks.
And
Thanks,
you've been a good friend, you and Ruth have, and continue that friendship even though you're moving to Pennsylvania.
That's right. Good luck to you here, Gary, and we'll definitely see you before we go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks,
Have a good
Gary.
day. Appreciate the call.
Bye.
Carl, in the, I guess, almost 20 years that you've been doing the show, something has happened today that, to my knowledge, and Kilby has no knowledge ever it happening.
Yeah.
We have had people to call in questions. We have had people to text in questions. We've, I think, maybe even had somebody to email in a question, but we actually had someone to fax in a question today.
Wow.
And so Kilby's going to pass it along
That's a
right
first.
here. So, anyway, so if you want to go ahead and read the question, maybe you can back it up with an answer.
All right. Well, the question is, I have several river birch trees around my house that drop their leaves all summer long on my porches and patio. Is there anything I can do? It could be due to an insect feeding that they're dropping. It could be due to stress, maybe, although we had a lot of moisture, and river birch is like water. So I'm thinking it might be an insect problem. Check the leaves, see if there's anything on the leaves, like aphids, if you see any leaf curling, if there's holes in the leaves. This might indicate beetles. There's on birch, there are beetles that will feed on the trees. I'm thinking of willows now, but this is birch. But you might want to bring a specimen into the extension office. Bring a branch into the office and have somebody take a look at it. So,
all right, and then you need to. What is that last line right there?
Oh, the person says, "Thanks, Carl, and wishing you a tremendously happy retirement." Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, that's very nice. Hey, we've got another caller.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Good morning. I have got a question about Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
According to a brochure that you gave us in the Master Gardening
Oh, I
class.
thought this sounds like Ellen. Yeah, okay.
Yes, this is Ellen. You can plant Brussels sprouts here July the 1st to the 15th. Do you do plants or seeds for Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts take a long time to mature. You're probably looking at 80 to 100 days or more. So, yes, start seed now.
Okay.
And then in about 6 weeks, you'll have good transplants to go out into the garden in early to mid-August. So you need to get them out as transplants, or transplant them in their permanent location in August, so that they can make sprouts before it gets real cold. They'll take it down to 26 degrees, but at temperatures like that, it won't hurt them, but they won't make much growth either. And if you feel that you're kind of behind the 8 ball, if you have sprouts forming on the plant and it's getting cooler, go ahead and pinch the center of the plant out. Pinch out the growing point.
Okay.
And this will
make the sprouts mature faster.
Okay.
If you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Ellen. Miss Ellen, before you go, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to have a clip with the lady that you inquired about last week. And so be sure to be tuned in, and we're talking about Miss Annabelle Briggs was on the program some years back with Carl and Mr. Don Carroll, and we're going to run that coming up in just a few minutes. But,
okay, all
very
right.
nice meeting you. Appreciate your call. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Look, let's go ahead and get a word on for, let's go to Sandling Golf Cars in Oxford. And when we come back, we're going to get Paul Westfall on, and we'll speak with him just a few minutes. But right now, let's go to Oxford.
Sandling Golf Cars is located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. They are open for business weekdays 8 until 5:30, Saturdays 9 until 1. Are you in need of a golf car? See Al, Hillary, and Will. They have club car and easy-go models. If you're wanting a gasoline or an electric golf car, maybe you're just wanting one that's basic, or you would like one that's fully customized. They've got them in stock at Sandling Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford, where they're open for business weekdays 8 until 5:30, Saturdays 9 until 1. Call 919-693-4626, toll free 1-800-221-9267. Are you in need of a utility trailer? You'll find tow dollies, enclosed trailers up to 24 foot, equipment trailers that can handle 30,000 pounds, stock trailers and dump trailers. See them at Sandling Golf Cars. If you need a larger enclosed trailer, no problem. 919-693-4626, toll free 1-800-221-9267. Financing is available. Also, if you're in need of Trojan batteries or repair service on your golf car, see Bradley and Dennis at Sandling Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. They also have Wilmington Grills at Sandling Golf Cars, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. Call 919-693-4626 or toll free 1-800-221-9267. Stop in and see them this week at Sandling Golf Cars. They carry club car and easy-go golf cars. That's Sandling Golf Cars in Oxford.
Well, here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program, and I would like to make welcome Mr. Paul Westfall, who is the Director for Person in Granville County's Cooperative Extension Service. Welcome, Paul. How you doing today?
Thank you, Rob. I'm doing very well, although it's kind of a sad day that now that Carl has retired. He's here in person and in spirit still, but we have to remember that he has that big R behind his name now.
That's right, the retired, yeah. He sure is. Well, just want to pass along some information to our faithful listeners, and we have a lot of them, and we are very appreciative of each and every one of them. And of some of the traveling around that I've been doing in the last few weeks since we announced that Carl would be retiring, a lot of people have asked me what was we going to do about the program, and I've been talking with Paul a few weeks, and I first mentioned the idea to Carl, and he said that he would love to see the show continue on, and we certainly plan to do that. And the plan that we are looking at as of right now is we will have the different agents come in on a rotating basis, whichever schedule works for them best, and we will talk about their areas of expertise, and if anybody should have a problem, if they call in, we will try to, get them information to get that questions answered. But Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with the Cooperative Extension Service?
Well, in North Carolina, I've been here 8 years now. Prior to that, I worked for 21 years in Cornell Cooperative Extension up in New York State. Before that, I was working with the University of Arkansas Extension Service right out of college. Got my bachelor's degree, worked with Extension Service for 2.5 years, went back, got my master's degree. I was a little slower than Carl in doing that. It took 3 semesters, I did 5 years to finish a master's. I was also working as a research assistant and could only take 1 course a semester. Well, a little slower road to do that. Sure. Then went back to work for the Extension Service in Arkansas.
Well, I had talked with you on the phone, but a little while ago, when we were just kind of talking, you were telling me about all the places, that you had traveled around and worked. The question popped in my head about, Lord have mercy, what is it with all of these agents? I think all of them put a card that says, I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere. But one good thing about it, you all have traveled around and worked in different locations, and that means you're very knowledgeable of not only the places but other places as well. And I think that is a plus when you bring knowledge from one state into another.
That's a plus too. Of course, there's a lot to be said for people that do, stay in their home areas. We like to feel that we're part of the community too after we work here and work with people for a while. But yeah, sometimes a different perspective helps. Of course, we learn a lot when we go to a new place. I think you
That's
echo
right.
that, Carl.
That's right.
I think as you've heard Carl talk, and I haven't mentioned it yet, but another thing is budgetary concerns in different places kind of influence how people move around. Because I know when I left the state of Arkansas to go to New York to work for Cornell Extension, we had a governor that froze state wages for a long time. We had to look for green pastures at that point. And then, of course, worked for there for a number of years. Our children grew up, moved south, and we decided we'd had enough of the cold weather and it was time to go back to a place that was more to our liking climate-wise, and came to North Carolina. And as I told you before, Rob, it felt like coming home when we moved to Granville County 8 years ago.
Well, we're glad that you enjoy calling North Carolina home. But unfortunately, in the society that we live in, the almighty dollar is usually the ruler of pretty much of all things considered. And anyway, but Paul, glad to have you out today. Looking forward to having you back. And I'll make mention of this. For the Gardener's Corner program next week, we will have the Commissioner of Agriculture, Steve Troxler, with us on the Gardener's Corner. And then starting up on July 15th, that is when we will start featuring Paul and some of the other local agents on the program. So
Great.
We look forward to it. We sure do.
And we're excited about continuing that relationship and developing the program, maybe in some different directions, but I think it'll be good direction.
I think it'll all
That's
be
right.
good because, as diverse as the extension service is, I think we can help get the word out about a lot of different things that
That's
the
right.
different agents have going on.
That's right.
So,
We certainly appreciate that.
looking forward to it. All right, let's get a word on for T.G. Brooks Company.
The month of July, and two things are important to a lot of us here in Person County. Number one is getting those delicious vegetables and pickles put up for the winter, whether you grew them or bought them at one of the two farmers markets. T.G. Brooks Company has all your canning jars in half pints, quarts, half gallons, and they have pressure cookers, bath canners, strainers, funnels. In fact, all of your canning supplies they offer at T.G. Brooks. They offer the stone jars for pickling too. The second item is to keep everything green, and T.G. Brooks Company can handle all kinds of watering needs. First of all, they have sprinklers, water hose sprayers, and water hose parts. They have irrigating equipment. T.G. Brooks Company also has your piping for irrigating. They have gas-powered pumps. A reminder, T.G. Brooks Company has Bartlett Animal Feeds, and they have dog fences and dog food by the bag. Also, it's time to beautify your property while you're out of doors. They offer so many kinds of mulch in bulk form or bagged. You can get your mulch by the large scoop. They have delivery services available too. Bring your truck, trailer, and they'll load it up for you. When it comes to yard tools to do the work, they have all your hose and diggers and choppers and everything you need to beautify. And be sure to enjoy the day with your family by ending the day with a delicious hand-cut rib-eye steak, sold and cut to your width, and cook it up on the grill. And then don't forget the ice cream freezers for some homemade ice cream. They have them. T.G. Brooks Company has been serving the farmer, the homeowner, and landscaper in our area since 1936.
All righty, here we are back on the Gardeners Corner program. Rob Hall here, along with Paul Westfall, and the retired Carl Cantaluppi. Anyway, we've got some special videos that we're going to share with you from times gone by of the Gardeners Corner program. Carl, I'll follow your lead.
Well, the first video shows Don Carroll and myself, longtime co-host of the show, and it just features Don and I, and features Don at his best. So let's take a look.
And good morning. Welcome into the Gardener's Corner, regular Friday feature here on 96.7 WKRX, and also on TV 10 on the Charter cable system, along with our sister station, WRXO, 1430 AM. Any of those locations, you'll be receiving the Gardener's Corner program, and we're glad to have you with us. The program brought to you each week by the folks at Southern States of Roxborough. We'll be telling you about some of the many items they have on sale this week, and also discussing and talking about lawn and garden stuff going on this time of the year. And we'll mention up front that we had to pre-tape today's show. There's a big conference going on, and Mr. Carl Cantaluppi's presence was required. So we had to do some pre-taping this week, but a lot of information to share. This is the time of year you start cleaning up, renovating, redoing, and reseeding, and
all those kinds of things.
A lot of stuff going on. This is Mr. Carl Cantaluppi from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, our resident expert. And
here we go.
Carl has a lot of good advice and recommendations that he can offer you anytime you have problems or trouble. And as I tell people all the time, I said, trust me, he's full of it. He knows. So when he tells you something...
That's the best introduction yet. Probably the most truthful, too.
And plus, when he gives you some advice, it's something that you can use and put to use, right?
That's right. That's right.
This time of the year, we're right almost, excuse me, at the peak season of, if you're going to renovate a lawn, better get to work on sowing it, right? Or,
that's right.
Or reseeding. And
That's right.
And that was actually a clip of 2006.
I think it was 06, yeah.
With Carl and Don Carroll, and you know, unfortunately Don passed away. But Carl, you and Don had a special friendship.
We certainly did, and we bounced ideas off each other. He was interested in horticulture, as you are, but just, you know, one thing would lead to another, and we really he was really good for the show. Yeah.
Now the next video we're about to see, tell us a little bit about it, Carl.
One Saturday morning, Don decided to come out with a video camera and tape one of my fruit tree pruning demonstrations. So this is just a little introduction to that.
Okay.
And through the magic of videotape recording, we're live on the scene, as they say. And we have an apple tree here this morning, and we also have a dog over here that doesn't think a lot of Carl's pruning techniques, so don't worry about that. But got an apple tree here, then you may want to take a good look at it, because by the time Carl finishes this, I've seen him do this before. By the time he finishes this tree will look nothing like this, but in the long run, it'll be better off for the attention, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to try to get this tree in shape so that it'll bear good fruit, and sometimes it's very difficult to know how to begin, and we'll talk about that in a minute here to tell you why.
Okay. Do you want to just point out what you're looking at and what you need to do, and you can go ahead and point it out to the folks, and I'll just kind of hold the microphone where they can hear what you're talking about.
Sounds good, Don.
Don always had a really good delivery.
Yes.
The way that he talked about things, and the way that he perceived and explained things. And, you know, I've said this many times, you know, I never would have had the idea of introducing you the way that I do if it hadn't been for, you know, Don Carroll. You know, they all seem, they all knowing, you know, and I just kind of took some of what he started, added a little bit to it, but he was a nice man, and he was really good to work with. And, either way, but,
he will be missed.
Yeah. Can I ask Carl a question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
In your pruning demonstrations, did you ever get any clients upset when you pulled out the chainsaw?
I never used the chainsaw.
Oh, that was my mistake, I guess.
But one time, I thought things were going to start off well at the pruning demonstration in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We were all ready to start, and the man that owned the trees, he said, well, you can't prune. You can't prune these trees today. What? Why not? Well, the sign isn't right. There's some dead trees over there. You can prune those if you want.
A lot of people
on the dead one.
Yeah. A lot of people believe in those signs. They sure do. The next video that we're going to see features Miss Annabelle Briggs.
Right.
She was a weekly caller to the program, and sometimes back, I don't know if it was Carl or Don Carroll's idea to invite Miss Annabelle out to the radio station for her to be on the show.
Right. Donna Kay went out to pick her up, and part of the show was laughing about she was late in getting out there, and she blamed Don about not giving good directions and all this kind of stuff. But this was a Christmas show this was December back in 2003. And people can see Miss Annabelle and see this is, I think, is the funniest part of the whole show with her. So we'll take a look.
And Miss Annabelle passed away a few years back, but she was quite the character.
Yeah.
For those that knew her, they know that, and for those of you that did not know her, this will kind of give you a little bit of the insight of the personality and the character she was.
That's right.
It's a little bit delay.
Earliest memories. Did you grow up in a large family? You grew up on a farm?
I had 5 brothers. And I was out at D.C. one day, and Nancy's sister says, Miss Annabelle says, I want you to do one thing. Says, I haven't had a good laugh all day. Said, we had trouble and do. Says, I just want to know about your family. I said, well, honey, don't ask me no more. I'm going to say this and I'm leaving you. I said, I had 5 wonderful brothers. And I was a baby one come along, and my daddy was so happy over me, and I said I was the only girl. And I says, and it's like fixing out sausage cakes and meat and things. I said, the meat give out before to finish me, so that's why I'm a girl.
What are some of your early memories of Christmas here in Person County?
When you go in getting things you love and you care and doing getting more, because back at Christmas time, back when I was a child coming on, you may get a whole pound piece of candy or a piece of peppermint candy, and that was it. We did not have these toys to play and do with, and I got one big doll was given to me one Christmas after I'd got on up good size and doing. And that's about all the Santa Claus that you know for to get to do.
Mm-hmm. What are the, Carl was talking about the biggest changes, and do you still do any gardening? Or I know you mentioned on the call in that you still.
Yeah, right there with Miss Annabelle. It kind of reminded me of the time that I met her. And anyway, Annabelle, she could really, get you goat sometimes. But, one of the ladies at your retirement party last week asked a question about Miss Annabelle, which she didn't know her name or know her personally, but she made reference to one time that she had called and asked a question of you about not having any squash, and you went into the pollination about the male and the female and just on and on. And Miss Annabelle just kind of patiently waited, and after you finished your spiel about squash, I understand Miss Annabelle said, well, I didn't realize all that was going on in my garden. Hey, we've got a caller.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardeners Corner program. Hello? You there? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, we got you.
All right. How you doing, Rob?
Good. How about you, Ray?
All right. I was out in the garden, so I can miss most of your program, but my first question is, if you're still taking questions today,
Yeah.
is Carl Cantaluppi going to leave his personal cell phone number with everybody so when he retires, we can still get in touch with him?
I said that I will, but I might pay for that.
Second thoughts already?
I do appreciate what you've always done for me. Second question is, out in the garden, I know you covered this, but I just want to make sure I'm going to do the right thing. Tomatoes are beginning to turn red. They're coming in pretty good. I've got about a good third of them. I mean, every one of them, but about a third of each tomato is going to turn black on the bottom. Is there anything I can do to help that out with the rest of them?
Well, just pick them off and get rid of them. It's probably blossom end rot. Make sure you practice good even watering. Keep your soil moisture level down to a good 6 to 8 inches. Don't let the soil dry out between waterings.
Okay, and that's what I've done. I just cleaned them all out and all hoping for the best on the rest of them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all very much, and I appreciate your program.
All right. Thanks for
Appreciate
calling.
the call. Thank you. All right, we got another call.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardeners Corner program.
Sir.
Yes.
I've got some questions about Leland cypresses.
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yes, we got you.
You're on.
I had noticed back in the spring that I was losing some leaves. It looked like a bug or something had just clipped them off. And then here lately I noticed that the inner part of the tree is browning, and I'm getting a little, I call them like little tassels off of there. Is it a bug in my trees, or?
Bagworms. You have little bags that hang down perpendicular to the branch?
Some of them do. I mean, it's spotty, but I don't see a whole lot of them.
Okay, let me ask you this. How old are they?
They're going on about 18 years old.
Okay, so are the browning, is the needle browning confined to the center of the tree, or are you starting to see that out at the tips as well?
I am seeing the inner part of the tree, like toward the trunk.
Okay, well that's the normal dead zone area of the tree. That's normal. because you have no live buds in the center of the shrub. But if it starts extending out to the tips, Leland cypress are not a good choice for a windbreak or a screen, because when they grow very, very rapidly. This is okay when the plant is small, but as they get bigger, they require more nutrients and more water, and you know, people just cannot give it the amount of water and nutrients that they require. So they start to stress, and then after they stress, the needles turn brown and they die. So you know, if it's just confined to the center of the plant, I wouldn't worry about it. If it comes out to the tips, know that, you know, it's only a matter of time before the plant is going to die. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it.
I mean, so you don't think it's a beetle or anything like that?
Well, not seeing it, it's hard to tell. If you don't have bags hanging down from the tips of the branches, it's not bagworms. It's just natural needle browning in the center of the plant, because the sunlight can't penetrate, and there's no live buds.
Right. Okay. Like I say, I got a few of those bags, but it's not overwhelming, or that's not all that you see.
Okay, no, it's just the natural. It's just the natural growth of the plant. The inner part of the tree is the
all
needles.
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate the
thank you,
call.
Robbie, how you?
Good. You?
Yeah, it's there.
I knew that was you. Tell your mom and dad I said hello.
Okay, all right, I will.
Appreciate it. Look, how was the cruise?
It was wonderful.
Well, I'm glad y'all had a good time.
If I had
Appreciate
your
it.
money, I could go again.
Yeah, if you'd had my money, you'd have stayed home.
All right,
Appreciate
take
it.
care.
Thank you now. All right, bye-bye. Well, Carl, you know, we got just a few minutes left, and, you know, it's kind of the end of an era, so to speak, you know.
Yeah.
Here you are, you were one of the, more or less, people that helped start the show, and you continue with it for a long, long time. And you will be deeply missed by all of us here at the station. And,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But don't be a stranger. We would love to hear from you. Whenever you think about it, we'd love for you to call in and just say hello and
Yeah.
give us a weather report from Pennsylvania. And I hope I'm not going to get too much into your private business by letting everybody know you're going to be moving to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, that's
in
fine.
just about
yeah.
a week.
In about a week, we'll be up there. That's right.
So,
It'll be quick.
But again, all the best to you and Ruth, and I treasure the friendship I have with you.
Well, thanks, Rob. Thanks to you, and thanks to Paul for your
Enjoyed having you
leadership.
around, Carl.
You bet. You bet.
Well, Carl, is it any last parting words you would like to say?
Oh boy.
Do we have time for that?
This
And
is
Carl,
true.
And please remember, we are live on radio, so we can't do any bleeping or anything as we leave with the parting words.
That's right. No, I just enjoyed the time and spending with all of you here at the station. And again, when we have the media working with Extension, it's a great asset. It makes our job a lot easier. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart to be able to do it. And hopefully, you know, this can continue with the other agents in the Extension office, just to keep Extension in the eyes of the public, because that's one of the things we have difficulty in doing a lot of times, making ourselves known. And a lot of people still don't know what Extension is. So in order to keep it vibrant, we need to be out there to the people. And again, thanks for the mass media for doing that.
Well, y'all, let's give Carl a big round of applause for his years of service with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. Yay, Carl! Our friend that is newly retired.
That's right. That's right.
So we're going to say thanks to all of our viewers and listeners for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors, T.G. Brooks Company and Sandling Golf Cars. And we look forward to seeing you next week with the Commissioner of Agriculture, Mr. Steve Troxler, here on the Gardeners Corner program. And again, Carl, thanks for everything you've done for us.
So long, everybody. Thanks for the time.